What up, my people? ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Happy, terrific Thursday. Another amazing day here in the neighborhood at Hoy Día TV. I'm going to bring on my amazing co-host, Cece, the actionist, and Nadine, the author. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, hey, hey.
¿Qué pasa?
Hey,
how we doing? How y'all doing?
Really good. Really, really good. Except for the fact that I have some butt pain. Literally, I have a pain in my butt. Y'all weren't expecting that, were you? Outside of that, life is good.
You have to elaborate on that, my dear. You have to elaborate on that.
I was out there, y'all, running track with my 8-year-old, and they were doing sprints. And I'm like, I got this. I had been doing drills all day with them. I didn't really properly warm up, so to speak, but I was like, I'm going to win this race. And so I'm racing my kid, and I'm going for it. So I'm like, it's time to put it in extra CC gear, right? So I hit that top speed mode, and when I did, it was pop. Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies, okay? And so
see, we're not the same age when we used to run around the base in Japan many moons ago, okay? You got to remember that.
I know. So I'm like, man, I won the race with the pop and all. I won the race, okay? Champion here, right? Against 8-year-olds all the way up to like 16, 17-year-olds, okay? So your girl was making it do what it does. So I run, but today I got my TENS unit connected on me right now on the show. So my E-stim is kind of going on to help with my pain and everything. So, you know, we make it happen. We show up, Hoy Día TV here, okay? You know what I'm saying? We make it happen. Pain in the butt and all. We make it happen.
literally pain in the butt. Literally. Oh my God. I love it.
Well, I hope you feel better.
Yes, I hope you feel better. You are as young as you feel, honey.
That part right there. That part right there.
I will call is to find out what really happened. The 8-year-old, he will tell it all. Mommy tried to beat me, but hey.
That is funny. Oh gosh. It sounds like a good excuse too to get a massage.
I know. And I'm definitely gonna hit that up. It's painful to sit, it's painful to lay. The only thing that really kind of brings me relief is standing, but then my feet hurt. I'm like, OMG. Because I went to work, I pressed on, I did everything I needed to do. I just had to slow down, right? And still make it happen. Life always goes on. So with all that being said, you know what? Push through, y'all. Push through the pain. You got this.
Right. Man. It's been a
absolutely.
I literally just came from a book signing, so here I am, you know, straight to it.
And talking about pain, I'm still dealing with my allergies. So I had to switch up the allergy med because that other one wasn't doing jack squat. So thankfully I'm feeling better. But I'm praying that this pollen just like subsides because I'm just over it. Like this allergy stuff is
Yes, you would not believe that I usually get bad allergies where I used to have to get the shots. Remember, Cece, it was so bad. But now I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm good. Like I can't remember the last time I had like an allergy attack. Do you use the local honey in your area?
I don't really use honey like that. No.
Buy the local honey and start using that. Somebody told me about that a long time ago when I was in Seattle and I used to get, bad allergies too. And I started using the local honey. So basically the local honey is any state that you live in, you buy the honey that's local for that particular state because the bees are different for that particular state. Yeah, that could be another topic, right? So yes, you have to buy the local honey for that particular state and start taking it.
Wow. And so you mentioned that
with the histamine, you mentioned with the honey and so, yeah.
Did the shots do anything for you when you took those?
Heck no, that was like many moons ago. Like when I was living in Florida, honey, they did like a scrape on my back. I got the allergy shots. I got the Zyrtex. I mean, I was miserable. Like when I grew up, you know, when I was in Jamaica, I had a cat. They told me I was allergic to cats, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm an adult and I'm allergic to cats.
Wow. And you know what's interesting, CC, that Nadine, that you say that is that I'm supposedly allergic to cats and pet dander too. So I don't know. Yeah.
And grass.
Yep. I'm allergic to everything.
I didn't
Me too. Grass, trees, dust, the world.
That part.
Look at the bubble. Look at the bubble that's over there, right? Like, hey,
a bubble.
Right.
That might actually be a good type of investment.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah, we're gonna start making some bubbles, okay, y'all? We're gonna put everybody just rolling around in the bubble and whatnot, you know. Maybe nobody gets mad at us and just pops it, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's ground for a lawsuit, but like, hold up. This is affecting my immune system. And you popping my bubble? No. Lawsuit.
Right. Yeah, but the pollen is really bad this year. So I'm just grateful that I didn't get an allergy attack.
Yeah, me too, because those are not. See, with me, it's just my eyes. Like, they swell up so bad where I start getting like blurred vision from just the particles of pollen and whatever else it is I'm allergic to. But
what I usually do
is not so.
Go ahead, Yessie.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's not really that bad where I get like attacks, but I do get really congested where I can't breathe. Yeah, so it's like.
So what I used to do, right, for me, I used to get the, you could go to CVS or Walgreens and get the neti pot, the little neti pot. You steam your face in it, and then they also have those little bath, not like it's like the bath bombs, but it's the shower bombs. It's like they have it in like Vicks vapor. When you put it in the shower and you turn the water on for it to be really, really hot, and then you bathe in that and let the steam just come up and just you ingest all of that. So I did all of that and it helped.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm gonna have to definitely check on that because I definitely want to feel better. So yes, absolutely, I'm gonna check up on that. And then for glutinous maximus pain, we gotta put some hot pads on that, right? Some icy hot on that.
Actually ice. You want to we do like within the first acute phase of any kind of injury, it's ricin, right? So you want to rest, ice, compress, and then elevate and even massage if you need to. So the ice has been my best friend, just putting that ice on there. And then I have, like I said, the little TENS unit, and I've been trying to move it, still putting pressure, doing just little light things, right? And then I'm going to see how it kind of goes within the next 3 to 5 days. And if it doesn't get any better, I might have some imaging done just to kind of see if I do have because there's different grades of tears. You have like a grade 1 to grade 4, actually grade 5. And so just depending on how severe the tear is, if it's minimal, the body's going to heal it, right? If not, then of course you have to go in for surgery and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be okay. Yeah,
because you are a physical therapist, so you know all the ins and outs of how to cure that stuff.
So I'm doing all my stuff. The only thing I don't have is an ultrasound machine, so I need that ultrasound machine. But I might go online. I bet I could probably find one pretty inexpensive and just kind of get some sound waves in there and make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That is awesome. Well, that's something else I learned about you today. I didn't know that you were a physical therapist. So that's cool.
Get one of these for the little massager.
Yes, yeah. Oh. You have all the gadgets, Nadine. You came up with the other stuff last week, right?
Nadine, I actually invested in that a couple of years ago, and I don't know where I put it, to be honest. I use it like lights, and I'm like, what did I do with that thing? It's somewhere around here.
Because I bought it for my stomach, I'm like, and when I had it up here, because when I used to work, because this is my office upstairs, I used to, when I'm at work, I used to rub it on my stomach.
That's smart. That's multitask. Work, a massage. Work, a massage.
I like that. I like that.
Yes. So we do have some juicy topics that we're going to bring up today. We have a topic on hospital bills. There's a comedy skit, Earth Day, Amazon package scams, and we have our guest. So let's start with this topic about hospital bills. Nadine, that was one that you brought up. So shed some light on that for us.
Listen, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but the topic came up this morning. I was talking to one of my good friends, and client. She had went to Dubai, and her son got sick, and she was telling me how much care they gave her son. He went in the ambulance. He didn't have to pay anything. She paid the hotel hospital like only like $100 and something, and then for all the extensive care that he got when he was over there, she paid like less than $1,000 for medicine and everything else. Rewind to the United States. I went to the ER about like the beginning of April. Didn't even go in an ambulance or whatever the case is. Spoke to TRICARE, and my bill, come to find my bill is $12,000. I have to say, well, thank you, Jesus. I was in the military and I have that TRICARE. Because who have $12,000 for a hospital bill?
Right.
That's absurd. And then on top of that, they send an extra bill for $1,800. Like, are you serious? And they stated that was the physician's bill. So come on, really? I see that bill to see what was included, because there's no way. What are they charging?
Nadine, that's unfortunately very common in my experience when I used to be a manager over a billing call center. It's very common where they're going to send out hospital bills and physician's bills, especially when a patient visits what's called a hospital-based facility. And ER departments are considered hospital-based facilities. And what that means is that a hospital-based facility is going to have a separate charge for the actual room usage, the actual whatever equipment, medicine, labs, etc. And then separate from that, there is going to be a physician's bill. So let's say, for example, if I'm a doctor, Cece's a doctor, and you're a doctor, and then we visit patient Mr. Peters. And so if I visit Mr. Peters, I get to charge him as a physician. If Cece visits Mr. Peters, she gets to charge him as a physician. And if you visit Mr. Peters, you get to charge as a physician. So that's why there's that extra charge. What I would recommend for you and for any of the audience and listeners, if you're dealing with something similar to what Nadine has just shared with us, definitely I encourage you to call the phone number, request an itemized statement. Itemized means every line item that was charged. Also, if you need to request an actual claim form of what's being submitted to the insurance carrier. And then also, you can go as far as requesting your medical records. Now, some cases there are extra fees for the medical records, but the actual itemized statement, there should not be an extra fee. But again, this was a long time ago when I used to manage the billing office, and now we're in 2025. So I can't say that they do or don't charge extra even for itemized statements, but in the long run, it will save you money regardless. It's good to make that investment up front, look at what you're being charged, find any areas that you feel are in error where they're like, no, you say like, I don't remember getting this. Feel free to question that, because you as a patient have every right to be in the know and have that transparency about what is being charged to the insurance carrier. So, yeah.
So on another note, I did some research and I looked up, because the only thing that would be more extensive, because like I said, I didn't go in an ambulance or anything, was the CT scan. So they said if you get a scan of your head or the brain, it's between $300 to $3,000. For the abdomen, it's $500 to $3,800. And if it's chest pain, it's $400 to $3,200. And if it's a full body, it's $1,000 to $10,000. So they only did a CT scan of my stomach, and that should be the range between $500 to $3,800. So I would like to know what the other charges would be for. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
That's me. I'm like, my mouth felt so sore when I called TRICARE, and the lady was like, "Oh yeah, the bill. They sent the bill. It was $12,000." I'm like, what? Because I didn't even know anything about that bill. I called them to ask them about the $1,800 that they bill me, and I'm like, why are they billing me? Why are they not sending it to TRICARE? So that's how I found out that they already sent them a bill for $12,000. I'm like, this is a whole scam. I need to own a hospital. You hear me? We need to own a hospital, a hospital because crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you know what? I commend you. And Yessie, thank you for your knowledge of sharing with us and the viewers on how to, advocate for ourselves and asking for those itemizations. I would do that, just moving forward. If you go to any visit, make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. These are your receipts, so comb through them, right, to make sure that you're not being overcharged. Because I can almost guarantee you the masses are not doing that. They're saying, oh, this is the bill, and they're paying it. And they'll sneak in charges, y'all. Look, our government, come on, you know what I'm saying? They're always stealing. Okay. And these hospitals too, they're all in bed together, right? The pharmaceutical companies, the doctors, all of it, they're all in bed together, right? I remember working in pharmacy. They would come and try to sell us different things and so on and so, and they would bring us food and lavish gifts and all that stuff. They stopped doing that because it was kind of, people, you go in for a headache and they say, oh, but do you know you have, something's going on with your big toe? You're like, but I came in for a headache. They're trying to prescribe you some medicine for your big toe. It's crazy, right? So they like, just like you see on your receipts, they upcharge, they upsell, they put all these service fees in there. And it is our rights, our patient's bill of rights. Even the hospital has these things listed there for us to be able to go in to see, the things that are afforded to us. And so going in to look at that itemization, every person out there should be doing that from here on out. Healthcare is expensive. It doesn't have to be, but this is a money-making business. It's a keep you sick business, right? And so the more I can have you come in to run more unnecessary tests. I know they target senior citizens quite a bit. My mom, going in, I'm like, these tests, you shouldn't have to have some of these things that's going on, but they just charge and charge. And I'm like, no more. Right. When you go there, have me on the phone so I can chat with them because they're in Florida, right? To make sure that you're not being scammed, because they will sell you any and everything. And you don't know what you don't know, right? We do know that we don't have $12,000 to go pay these medical bills. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And in other countries, as you've already alluded to, Nadine, that, healthcare is typically cheaper, a lot cheaper. Versus the U.S. And so do what Yessie said, because she's been there, lived that life, all that stuff, those ICD codes, I think 9, 10, I don't even know what number it is now, maybe 12, to the CPT codes, which basically it's everything that they've done with you, right? And it all has a fee. So, you know what, if you want to get a really good paying job, try medical billing and coding, because those people are there to do that, right? To find all those extra fees that they can charge you for, right?
That's a true story. That is a true story. And so for next time, I'm going to bring up, since we're talking about extra fees, my experience when I was checking out at a store. But that's for next week's topic, because since we have a good agenda today, so that's going to be for next time, because I want to give some food for thought next time. But yeah, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that, Nadine. And definitely, if there's anything I can do to help you out, if you want me to look over something or talk to somebody, just let me know. I'll be happy to do that for you. So I want to make sure that everything.
And I don't want to. Oh, sorry, Yessie. And I don't want to be that person to be like, well, my insurance is already paying for it. Why worry about it? No, that's not right. That's not fair. If there's something that they're overcharging my insurance for, I'm going to let them know, like, no, I didn't get that service done. So no, they're scamming you. They're scamming us, So I'm going to definitely look at the itemized bill to find out exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. And I've done that. I've reached out to TRICARE and filed a complaint. And I said, hey, this stuff didn't happen. They're charging you for this, because they know people are scamming all the time, and they actually investigate it. And it wasn't, they were charging extra stuff, and services that I didn't receive. I'm not sure what became of that, but I just know I didn't have to pay a bill. So hopefully, the insurance companies went after, whomever, whatever, these fraudulent doctors, whomever, what I'm saying, charging all of these different services, and you're not receiving them.
Yeah, typically in those situations.
Yeah, so that's why they're scamming, because they know the military doctors will pay. So that's why they're putting on additional charges, because there's no way in HELL that bill is a $12,000 bill. There's no way. And I didn't even take an ambulance ride. There's no way.
Right. Yeah. Typically in the situations like where what CC shared, where a fraudulent claim was identified, what typically happens there is either no compensation is given to the um, hospital or entity filing that claim, or they get an extra fine for being fraudulent, even up until the point where it can affect them with their long-term reimbursement based on the contractual agreements that they have with the actual hospital and insurance companies. So there's a lot of more consequences that can definitely come with that. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and I have my chart, so I'm going to pull up my chart later on because everything should be in there, and I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good for you.
On the lighter note, let's Cece, tell us about this comedy skit that you came across that really caught your attention, and share some
Absolutely.
thoughts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as I was, dealing with my butt pain, I needed something to make me laugh, to lighten the mood, to make me feel better. And so I was up because I was trying to get comfortable and icy. And anyway, on YouTube, there was this comedian. His name is Marcus Wiley. Never heard of him, but he's really funny. And I like him because the comedy is clean. I've been to comedy shows. I've listened to comedians. I love comedy, but some of it's just so grimy and the language is just too much. And I know they say, this is for, rated R. And I'm like, even as adults, if my child can't watch it, maybe I shouldn't be watching it either. I just kind of go with that mindset, right? And so anyway, he was talking about marriage is major surgery. And so I was like, the topic kind of caught my eye. I was like, marriage is major surgery. And so he comes on and he's talking about, the ups and downs, ebbs and flows, highs and lows of marriage, and how him and his wife got together. Well, he said one thing about the marriage vows, and he was talking about, how nowadays people go in and they just have marriage vows, but it doesn't really give you an insight onto what marriage or into what marriage is, right? They'd be like, girl, you held me down, you helped me start my business and I appreciate you. I love you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, that's all fine and well and good. And it's probably true, but you haven't really given me any insight or any kind of promises, reassurances, right? Going into this marriage. And so he talked about the marriage vows, the traditional ones, right? Like a way of win, rich or poor, sickness and health, right? To have and to hold. And so he said he finally got a revelation on the have and to hold part, right? And I remember seeing these traditional marriage vows, right? And I did change up some stuff in our wedding vows as well. I was like, we're gonna do this part, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Right. To death do us part. I don't know, might need to rethink that one. I don't know. I'm just so yeah, so the having the whole part, right? So he says, in our culture, in our world, everybody is all about the having. We are have, give, now. So I have this, I have that. He gave an example. It's for the iPhone, right? You got your new cell phone. You love your cell phone. You just got it. It was brand new. And now they came out with the brand new iPhone or Android or whatever the case. You're like, oh, they got the iPhone 73. iPhone 73 doesn't exist just yet, but it's coming. It's coming. And so you start looking at your phone like, my phone kind of raggedy. It's been acted up. You just got the phone, right? But now you want to have something else. And so you want to put down the thing that you were originally holding, right? That you wanted so bad, and you're on to the next thing. And so the holding part is sticking with it, staying with it, right? Not everything needs to be gotten rid of or getting something new and upgrade or whatever. Sometimes you just need to, that holding part is staying in there and you're fixing what you got. So instead of me getting rid of that cell phone that I just got that was really, truly brand new, right? Let me stick with it. Right? Let me utilize all of the applications on the cell phone, right? Let me master this cell phone, okay? Let me go into all of the different intricate settings and know everything there is to know about this cell phone. Because once I begin to do that, once I begin to dig a little bit deeper, now he didn't say all this, but the Holy Spirit, he be downloading to me, y'all. So this is the Holy Spirit right now, okay? Right? Once you begin to dig a little bit deeper, right? You will find that cell phone that you have, that marriage, that relationship, whatever it is that you have, like right now, right? When you hold on to it, typically, when you hold on to something, what typically happens? The value increases. The value increases. So he had just said that little gist about, that. But right now, as I'm talking to you, like God himself is really downloading like all the stuff to me. Because when you hold on to something, right? that's value. Okay, it's vintage, you know, which is value. It's a classic value. There's a value add to the things that you hold on to. So now that we're saying I do, and now I have you, yay! Let me hold on to you. Okay, so I want to encourage everybody out there, right? In any relationship that you're in, I hope it's a healthy and happy and joyous relationship. But hold on to that which you have, right? Appreciate that which you have, because you wanting the next best thing, there's no value there. You got to wait all of the time that was invested in the thing that you were holding on to, all that time invested, right? It adds up to something. When you switch over to that have thing, you've lost. It's just like buying a car. As soon as you drive off the lot, the value depreciates. So hold on to have and to hold. Have it, hold on to it, fix what you got, work it all out, and it'll all be good. And check out Marcus Wiley. He was pretty funny.
He sounds amazing. He sounds really, really dope. And you know what's interesting? As I'm listening to you, Cece, I really love that correlation that he put and that you're sharing regarding relationships and cell phones. Because when you buy a new cell phone, what is the main thing that you identify that it's brand new, which means that there's no applications really downloaded to it. You don't have no pictures, no nothing. But what happens is it starts slowing down and messing up because you started downloading extra applications. Now you're logging and searching different webs and now have like different encryptions behind the scenes that you don't see, or the extra pictures and videos that you haven't cleared out. Yes, it's going to cause it to lag and act funky. But guess what? There's a clean slate right here. All you have to do is it's a trick for anybody who wants to save their cell phones, because cell phones ain't cheap. All you have to do is get an external drive, get your laptop, dump everything that you want of value into this external drive. And all you have to do is do a factory reset to bring it back to normal. And correlating to relationships is remembering the first time that you met that person. How did you feel when you first held that cell phone / person in your hand? It was brand new. It was fresh. Do that factory reset. Remember what it is that really brought you together to keep you together. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, can we get an amen? Pass around the offering plate, because that was good.
Pass around the collection. Because yes, he is preaching today, honey.
Hallelujah. Won't he do it?
Yes. Yes. That's why I love the show, because we can be our authentic selves and say what's on our minds. And because we're all professionals and the way we speak and the way we carry ourselves, it's like, hey, I mean, we're speaking truth. We're speaking from a different place because we know our information. So,
that was
all
good.
right.
That was good. That was all just downloaded on the spot. That was good. That was beautiful, Yesty. Like I'm gonna pass you an offering. Okay, we gonna do what that is.
Thank you. Oh, y'all so dope. Y'all so sweet. Thank you. And talking about that, we're talking about just this embracing what we have. We have to embrace our beautiful earth with what we call Mother Earth, with the greenery and the beauty. And when we look out the window, I mean, yeah, we get the little con of dealing with allergies and whatnot, but the beauty in that is that I guess some, animals and bees are in a good place and we get to suffer those allergy sufferers. But anywho, side note. So Earth Day was recently, this past Tuesday, April 22nd. And I didn't know that it was an event that was created from, this has been around since like the 1970s. Because I'm looking it up right now. In 1970, Senator Gaylord Nelson from Wisconsin, he wanted to force environmental protection onto the actual national agenda. And so he organized a nationwide teach-in on college campuses. And 20 million Americans showed up that day. And so apparently this April 22nd, 1970 officially became Earth Day. And so with that, the main intention was to work on the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, Endangered Species Act, Environmental Protection Agency, also known as EPA, and is celebrated ever since, even today. And so people get together to clean up, plant trees, do eco-friendly challenges. They have what's called a Zero Waste Week. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds interesting. And then they do policy advocacy, educational events. So it's really interesting. Have you all ever experienced an event for Earth Day or knew about Earth Day?
Only time I remember Earth Day was in high school, was in school, when we celebrated Earth Day. But other than that, it wasn't like a holiday or a thing that, I said, okay, it's Earth Day, I'm gonna go save a tree. I mean, I love the trees and all, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did with our nonprofit Extended Hands Worldwide Ministries. With the schools, we partnered with them. We planted trees and things of that nature. Gave kiddos just a little glance into of how we need to protect our world, because if we don't take care of our earth, then we're not going to be taken care of. If we pollute and give our earth trash, then what we're going to get back is trash. And the trash that we get is in our water. The trash that we get is in all the poisonous foods and all the poisonous chemicals that we put in our bodies every day, the exhaust from our cars and the air pollute. So whatever you give to earth is going to give back to you. So it's a two-way street. You see what I'm saying? And so taking care of our earth, and even just knowing how the earth can help you with your health, right? So just like for relaxation technique, we do something that's called grounding. Or just go out, sit in my yard, and put my feet in the grass, right? Just put my feet in the grass, and there's energy that flows. It really grounds you, and it's very therapeutic. So Mother Earth, it helps us, and so we should be helping Mother Earth. Yes, indeed.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I agree. I echo those words. And it's always good when you're planting a tree because you get to see it grow and blossom. And depending on the tree, because, some trees, they carry fruits. So that's the beautiful thing too, to see, and you just grab the fruit from the tree and wash it off and enjoy it. So yes, definitely. So, hey, that could be a challenge that we can pose on to our viewers and listeners. Go out and plant a tree, or in your backyard, plant some seeds somewhere, grow some beautiful. You'll see it's really interesting seeing it grow. And then you're going to get impatient because you're going to see it as a little seed. And then you plant it and you're like, how long is it going to take to start sprouting and to start appearing?
Listen, yes, it's like what was it, like about probably 2 years ago, somebody had given me some roses. And when the roses are dead, literally dead, I said, because they were really beautiful, they were like pink and white. And I said, let me try to plant. I literally planted the dead roses, like the stem with the dead roses. And I said, let me plant it to see what happened. Girl, the next year, those roses bloomed. Like I'm waiting. The tree's growing now. I'm waiting for it to show the buds again. But last year, I'm like, oh my God, look at my little rosebud. When we get off the show, I'm gonna go look for a picture and send it to you. But that roses, it grew.
That is amazing. That is beautiful. And roses are my favorite flower. Like, I love me some roses. That is really nice.
And I have some beautiful energy in my backyard too.
That is awesome. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, we're going to pivot over. I was going to bring up an extra topic, but because our guest is patiently waiting, I'm going to leave that for next week's episode. So you all got to tune in to see what those new topics are. But we are going to pivot over to bring on our special guest. So our special guest, born in Jacksonville, Florida, to two amazing parents, Mr. Jackson and Miss Mungin. He was raised by his grandmother, Bettye, who introduced him to the richness of Black cinema. Growing up, our special guest was inspired by legendary figures like Denzel Washington, Danny Glover, and the late Tupac Shakur. Icons who really helped spark his passion for storytelling and for being a performer. So from working with local filmmakers in Duval County to landing a role on Tyler Perry's hit show Sistas, our guest has never stopped chasing purpose through performance. Whether he's on the screen or behind the mic or even in front of a live audience, he brings authenticity, experience, and heart to every moment. He's a sibling of his late brother, Christopher Jackson, along with Greg, DJ Damien, Wykeisha, Tameca, and Latoya. So our guest graduated from Terry Parker High School in the class of 2004 and earned his degree from Jacksonville University in 2009. So welcome to Hoy en Día TV, Todd Jackson Jr. Welcome to the stage.
How y'all doing?
Hello, Todd. How are you?
Okay, I'm okay.
Thank you for being on. We are excited to hear your story. So tell us, who is Todd Jackson Jr.? I mean, I read a whole bio, but how would you describe yourself?
Um, I'm a humble guy. I spent most of my life playing football. My whole life I've been an athlete. Up until about 2018, I decided to retire. At that time, a lot of people felt like I had about at least 7 to 8 years left to play, but the acting just took off. After the actual extra role that I got with Tyler Perry's Sistas, it's like the roles just started rolling in from there. I'm a father. I'm an uncle. I'm a uncle dad. I'm a family guy. I love my family. Everything revolves around me. My family, my friends. My best friends are they're amazing. Those guys are. I would say like I have the best friends in the world. Like from my best friend Taj to Rico to Davey, just to name a few. I have best friends. My god brother Dominique and Damien. Though a lot of those guys that keep me grounded. It keeps me human. You know what I mean? A lot of times people see me on TV and they say like, "Oh, this guy's Hollywood," and people that know me, they don't think like that. They actually we hang out, we deal with everyday life. So I'm a human being. I love what I do. I love the people that I work with, and the future seems like it's very bright. So I'm overly excited. I'm blessed. I'll say that.
Ladies, before I jump on my questions, what questions do you have for our guest?
Well, first off, Todd, thank you for sharing that insight and welcome to HED TV. And I mean, we are happy to have you on here today. So I wanted to ask you, like, what inspired you to start going into acting, and what challenges have you faced in getting into the industry?
Acting kind of it's funny. I was playing football at JU and they offered us they had plays that they were offering, for just for us to like be a part of. And I decided to be a part of the Raising in the Sun, just fooling around with it. About I would say about maybe like 2 years later, my brother was doing a movie and he was in a movie called Fired Up 420 Special, shot by Sozo Jackson out of Jacksonville, and they wanted a guy to play a dirty detective, like an undercover cop. I didn't know anything about police, that nothing at all. I went and studied Denzel Washington Training Day. I watched it. I could tell you probably any line in that movie that Denzel had. And that from there, it kind of I seen the audience and how they gravitated to me, I was like, wow, like I seen it playing football, but once it was like I'm doing something that's not drew up in a playbook, but when I thought about it, the script is the playbook. So I kind of, started putting two and two together and looked at football. I mean, looked at acting as the same way I looked at football. And it just, came with studying and learning and just, becoming familiar with the culture.
Awesome.
What are some tips and tricks
But
that
what
you've
what
used to
really I would
kind of,
say
remember those lines?
I try not to read the whole script. they a lot of times they tell you to you want to focus on your part first. When you're reading the script, I think that it's wise to read like the character that you've been presented with first. Read your lines. Once you read your lines, then you can kind of understand who the character is as well as the story itself. It kind of helps build your
You muted.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like he's having some connectivity issues, so he'll come back. Let me take him off the stage until he comes back.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the acting world is really interesting, right? Because there's so many layers to acting. People think it's just easy, like you're gonna show up and look cute and call it a day. It's like, you know, there's more to that, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, you gotta
Sorry.
know the characters. I'm
Yeah,
studying for a monologue right now, and it's like I gotta remember these lines, child.
Yeah.
that's why I was
But
like saying, like I always admire actors and actresses because when you have a big role, there's so much to remember. And it's like, how do they remember all of that? I have sometimes, but sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. Okay. So I'm like, how am I gonna remember these lines, right? When it comes to that. So what
Yes.
yes, you act. What are some tips that you would give to remember lines and things of such?
yeah, so it's a twofold. So I encourage, if first understand the storyline, understand the script, and understand your role. That's first. Also, you're going to get what's called a call sheet. On your call sheet is going to give you your date of filming, the episodes you're filming, etc. And so what I typically do is I look at the call sheet. I still remember everything. Like I go focus on my parts, but then when I know for sure, like if tomorrow I know we're focused on scene 3 and 5, that night before I'm going to study extra hard and I'm going to focus on 3 and 5. And then the following day, if you're going to do scene 7 and 10, then guess what? The day before, focus on 7 and 10. So retainability. Even with that, I keep my cell phone because I have the script on a PDF on my cell phone. So I keep it somewhere where I can easily review it real quick before I actually start filming. And there's always what's called a script supervisor. So if you ever freeze up on the line or you're like, "Ooh, what am I supposed to say?" Just shout line and they'll feed you the first few lines to kind of help you retain that information. So those are some tips and tricks that I use. I work for me. And it looks like our guest is back on. So let me bring him back on here.
Yeah. And I was about to say that Rose and I, we were doing a skit, and I was telling her yesterday, I was like, girl, I don't know, I remember these lines, but I mean, what I've done is I recorded them. I recorded the lines and I've been studying. But I mean, I got it down pat now. I mean, it's not much. It's not a long monologue. So I have to translate the lines from, English, because my role, I have to speak patois in the line. So I recorded it. I know what I need to say, but, it's just trying to find the beat and the time and stuff to, but I think I have it down pat now.
You're going to do great. You're going to do great. I believe in you. You're going to do amazing. Yeah, recording lines is another method that I love using as well because it helps me retain that information. So when I'm to set or even if I am just chilling at home, put the earbuds on and hear that recording, that definitely helps you for sure. It's like listening to a song. When you listen to it over and you start jamming, you're like, oh, da, 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 and you start spitting the lyrics out. Exactly. That's pretty much what it is. You're spitting your own lyrics of your script. So yeah, but welcome back, Todd. I believe Cece had a question before the screen froze. So Cece, can you ask your question again,
and it
please?
was just about, yeah, absolutely. It was just about you remembering the script, and you had kind of left off saying that you don't read it through, all the way or whatever, and then it kind of cut out.
I try not to. I try not to really. I kind of focus on my part of the script first, like my lines. I try to read those and try to either put them in my mind or I record them so I can repeat them back to myself. And then I go and actually read the full script so I can actually understand who my character, his background, when they were writing him, who is, for prime example, the last movie I was in was The Future Soul. I had to literally find out AJ's background, like what does AJ do? And Carlos, he was very good with, giving character descriptions and things of that nature. And I kind of, the lines kind of flowed along with the character's background. So I love script. I love scripted lines. I love improv lines as well. It gives the actors a lot of time to relax. In my movie that I'm filming right now, called Debate, the script is written. Everybody follows the script. Sometimes the actors ask if they can improv. I'm one of those open guys. So if you have something that you feel like can make the project better, I'm open to it. So that kind of helps as well when it comes to the script. Just trying to remember things, and then the improv part that works for you as well.
Mm-hmm. And what I've learned or what I've read also is that as for what you was in our what I said earlier about recording the lines, right before you go to sleep, so you could get into your subconscious, you listen to it so that once you go to sleep, then you'll learn it like that as well.
So Todd, being an actor and working with different talents of different levels, what would you say would be one of your pet peeves about working with another talent that just may not be holding their weight? Oh, I think we lost you again.
No, that's a good question, though. It's a really good question.
Yeah. For me, in my experience, until he comes back, I'm going to remove him again. I know for me, in my experience, it really causes an imbalance with the filming, right? Especially if the momentum's going great and everybody else is on the same page, but then we have an actor show up and they don't know their lines, or their attitude's a little stinky, and it's kind of like, really? Like, what are you doing? And so it can throw people off. However, in my experience, you just got to keep pushing through. And what I've done is I've even gone to the point where I pull them to the side and I make sure that, one, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Because sometimes I get that, they might be dealing with something personal that's causing them to be off their game, which is completely understandable. So definitely it's one of those where it's like, one, treat people the way you want to be treated, and acknowledge them, like, hey, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? But then also, from an actor standpoint, if everything's good and you're a professional, you still have to be able to put that face on, right? The actor's face, to say, hey, I'm going to keep pushing through. This is my profession. This is my career.
Right.
Want to give that room for somebody else to step into your role, because now you've fumbled the role because you're not holding your weight. And so every time that you're on set for prospective actors or even working actors, be mindful that you can be replaced. You're replaceable. You know how many actors exist out here? I looked the other day and there's over 6 million actors worldwide. That's a lot of actors. Mm-hmm. And it's growing. And so with that in mind, do you right. Be on your A game. Like, know the script like your back of your hand. Don't come to set acting like your poop don't stink. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nadine, in your experience, have you ever, working with different sets and different productions, have you ever experienced anything similar where you see or feel the vibe off because somebody's acting funky?
I've seen it, and I've also seen it too. Even last week I was on set where, and I mean, we are humans, I mean, yeah, we do study the lines, but sometimes you're going to forget. So they're there with their tablets, studying the lines, memorizing the lines, and they put it under the table, and then sometimes they call out for help too. They forget the line. So yeah, definitely. I mean, there's nothing as a perfect world or a perfect actor or actress.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
That's good. That's really good. I see that it can be very taxing. I know there's a lot of long hours on set and things of that nature. And I know not every production is the same. I know I've heard, experience with Tyler Perry. He's really good about, having actual sous chefs on the set, right, to feed his people and things of that nature. But I've also heard on different sets, some people don't do that. It could be budget, type things in that nature. But I thought that was like, how kind. That's really nice, to make sure people, at least well fed, if they got to spend, hours and hours out of their day to be there, just, to be when it's their time to be called to go on and things of that nature. And just having with Nadine, just kind of seeing like at the drop of a dime, sometimes she had to like show up like right away, and you're like, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? So just being available.
So I apologize. I literally live here in Jacksonville on the St. Johns River, and my connection with this was terrible. So I'm literally in the clubhouse right now, making sure that I can connect to the internet. So I'm back. I shouldn't lose connection.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah, no, it happens. We can.
Do you have T-Mobile or Spectrum? Which one is it?
T-Mobile. Unfortunately, T-Mobile.
There you go. I have T-Mobile too.
They're the worst. I swear.
Well, it's okay. We can be back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I apologize. But yeah, to answer your question, I as far as like with me with the scripts, I usually just I kind of focus on my character. I think that's the easiest way that any actor could go into any project in the script that you have, is like focus on your job first. It's almost like when you're going into a 9 to 5, like do your part, and then everything else will flow together.
Right. The question I had asked before everything, with the freezing situation took place is dealing with actors who are not pulling their weight. How do you typically deal with that? Or one, have you experienced that on set? And two, if you have, how have you dealt with that?
I've experienced it. I'm gonna give y'all two stories. So one day.
Frozen again.
Uh-oh.
God.
That river is not working. I wonder if there's like severe weather in Jacksonville. There's always rain typically somewhere in Jacksonville at any given time. Normally at 3:00 in the afternoons, you get some kind of rainstorm, but we're clear past that. So I don't know. He's on that river, so it's kind of sketch. Don't get T-Mobile, y'all.
And I had
it's all sketchy.
No, it's actually StreamYard. StreamYard is what's doing it. So I might have to re-download the app. Yeah, StreamYard keeps closing out on its own. So it actually wasn't the service this time. it was StreamYard. But I have two scenarios. So one day, filming the most recent movie that I just did, The Future Soul, I arrived at the set. I arrived on set, but I had literally just left 2 other sets. So I got there and I was off my game that day. And I had to do one of those. I had to be one of those actors where it was like line, and I was frustrated because that's not me. Like I literally go in and I make sure that I can, punch it in the mouth. And, I try to knock my scenes out quick. So that particular day, I would say my co-star, LaShawn Rice Jr., I'm sorry. He actually carried me that particular day. And I shook it off. I wasn't feeling well that day as well. So it was a lot that played into it that particular day. Now, I also had a situation where me and one of my other actors had to carry the weight because a few guys they didn't remember their lines and things of that nature. And to me, if you're a rookie actor, it's not as frustrating. What's frustrating if you have those guys that are prima donnas and they come in and they feel like they already know, they know their lines, and now we got to we start on take 1 and now we're on take 36 because these guys wasn't as good as they thought they were. So I mean, I try not to get frustrated, and just remain a team player at all times. That's the most positive thing to do. But it does come frustrating. It becomes frustrating at times. But just focus and understand that everybody's not the same. We may all do the same job. We may all be in the same line of work, but we're not all the same.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. And I'm glad that you shared that you're going to be a team player and you want to be a team player, which is a beautiful thing. And I agree with that to an extent though, right? Because if an individual continues, let's say, okay, right? And strike two, okay, cool. But if it's a track record where you're continuously doing this, then it's kind of like, this person isn't taking this serious. This is just like whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and those and people like that, you kind of, I think the director themselves usually can see it. So it's kind of, again, you know, as an actor, you can say so much, but you don't want to be looked at as a problem as well on the cast. So I kind of allow the directors to direct, you know, in a sense, and you know, I kind of play my actor's back seat. Now, when I'm behind the camera and I'm on my director's point, then you know, I feel you 100%. Like I'm not gonna waste 2 hours on the scene that should have only took 15 minutes, you know, because y'all didn't come prepared, you know. So I mean, I completely understand that. Like I like to come and get my job done and go home. You know, it takes a lot to make a film. It takes time. Like acting and making movies is more time consuming than anything you can possibly do. You're liable to drop an engine, you know, quicker than someone finishes a day of filming, you know. So it's definitely, it takes time and it takes perfection.
Some people think it's a walk in the park, but it's not.
No, not at all. A lot of people always, I run into a lot of people and they are like, hey, put me in a movie. And it's like, dude, this is not like referring you to a job. Like this is not the same thing. Like it requires a countless amount of attention to do what we do. It's not easy at all.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it as fun as you thought it was going to be? Or once you got in it, you're like, this isn't as fun as I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, so hearing what you're saying now, what's your take on that?
It actually, to me, I never wanted to be an actor. Like this never was nothing that I was like, as a kid, I was like, I want to be in a movie. Like, no, I was anti-football and basketball, baseball. Like I was a true athlete. So I never thought about it. And, you know, when I actually got into it, I was like, this is pretty cool. It's like a whole nother world. Like the actors, you don't see the actors where you see the rappers and the singers and like, they don't party together. It's like, they don't be at the same type of establishments. So it's like, it's different. It's a different atmosphere. And to me, it's very fun. It actually, you get to celebrate the art when it comes to acting and creating movies and things of that nature. And I'm a nerd for art, no matter if it's paint or I like to see people create stuff. Like you can make a tire and put some pegs on something. And I'm like, wow, like we can do that. It's like, so I love seeing people create things, and like that's probably like it's probably what's drawn me to it the most. I love the creativity behind it.
That's awesome. I want to pose a question for all of us here because I want to get your thoughts. And this is for me, Todd, and Nadine, who have experience in acting. Kecia, I'm not sure if you have any experience with acting, but I'll ask you this question more from a spectator when we're watching movies and TV. When you're watching a movie or TV on, like, what would you say? What is your pet peeve about the production? Like, have you ever noticed something off? And two, what would that be? And how did you feel? So Todd, go first, and then we can do Nadine and Kecia, and I'll go last.
So I knew that question was going to come up, and it's so funny because a lot of my friends, I think my mom might be on this live right now, a lot of them don't like to watch movies with me because I'm the type of person, I sit there and I'd be like, Mom, did you see the reflection in the car? Like, I don't know if y'all ever seen The Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin Lawrence. And so that it's a particular scene where Martin is what is her name? What is the lady's name that plays
I know she looked like
Lynn Whitfield. Is it
Lynn Whitfield, right? Lynn Whitfield, yes. So it's a scene where Lynn Whitfield is getting, and she pulls up to Martin's girlfriend's mom's house, and the girlfriend, the mom is about to fight Lynn, and Lynn lets the window up. But when she lets the window up, you can see the guy with the camera that's recording, that's filming. Yeah.
funny.
So a lot of times, like, I notice stuff like that. People have seen this movie like for 40 years and they never noticed. And it's like with me, anytime I watch something, I'm like, oh man, that's a green screen. Oh man, look at that. Look at the guy. You can see them like it happens all the time. And I try not to do it, but it always happens. Like it never fails. Like never fails. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard watching movies with me. I try to be quiet. I just try to watch them. I swear.
That's a good one, actually. That's a really good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope. Hey, what about you?
So, I mean, as you know, I'm not really, an expert like you, but I've been on plenty of sets to notice. But one of the most important one was, I think it was a Tubi movie, right? The lady, she was a detective or whatever the case is, and she's going in the house with a flashlight looking for somebody, but the light in the house is on.
And they were filming that scene during the day. I know
Yeah.
exactly what movie you're talking about. And that scene was being filmed during the day. So that's why you can see it looks like it's light out. It looks like the light is on in the house, but it's really light. It's light outside. And she's in there with a flashlight. And it's like, are you serious right now?
But
Y'all
listen, I've been on Tyler Perry sets where but it's like pitch black outside. That's why it depends on how much money you have to make these things happen.
Yep.
Like when I tell you like 8, 9 o'clock outside is real dark, and the lights that they put out there, it looked like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it just depends on the production company, how much money you have, and exactly. So we were, so I mean, they have the money to do all that and make it happen. But I mean, I understand some film are low budget and they make it happen. Kudos to them. But actors that have been on set to notice those little things, it kind of like have your mind going.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely does.
I was watching a show today, and in this show is called The Black Hamptons, and it was just on. So, I like to support my Black film, and so they're rich. These people are rich, right? It's interesting to me sometimes when I see the sets and some of the decor on the set is like the decor that I might have in my house. Like I'm like, oh, I have that in my house. It's kind of interesting. And so in this one scene, like these people are like billionaires, right? So one of the nightstands, like the room was decorated very, very nicely. One of the items that they had on the wall was one of the items that I had purchased at Big Lots. So I was like, I know this millionaire ain't having this in their house, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, the nightstands, right? They were different. They didn't match. And maybe I don't know, they couldn't get, maybe I don't know. But the nightstands, I saw that today, and I was like, I got 2 mixed match nightstands in this. This is a mansion that these people live in. These are billionaires, wealthy people, wealthy to do. Like everything in here should be magic. You know what I'm saying? And I should have seen a little winky dink. It's a little wall ornament. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm no billionaire. So I'm like, if that's in my house, clearly it shouldn't be in a billionaire's.
Facts. You would be surprised.
Kind of interesting.
You would be surprised.
Hey, billionaires on the budget. Hey.
Right. That's why I said you would be surprised.
For me, I would say for me, it's the delivery. Like I see a lot of movies being put out now, and yeah, I get it. You're closing the loop, you're putting out the production, but when your delivery is bad and the majority of your actors is bad, like for example, if somebody's coming behind you with a knife and you're like, oh my God, versus, like,
Right.
come on. Oh my God.
Or they fall in slow motion or something. It's like, oh, don't kill
Or
me.
somebody's knocking at your door, you don't know who it is. You'd be like, who is that? Versus you'd be like, who the fuck is that?
Right.
The delivery matters, people. Whoever's watching this, putting productions, please,
I'm telling you.
I beg you. If your actors are doing a poor job, have them do it again until they get it right, because delivery matters, and that's going to reduce the quality if you're having bad actors. Just saying.
Yeah. You got to actually be the character. You got to actually be the character. It's more than just reading the lines. A lot of people feel like, oh, I can read lines. I'm good. I can remember lines. You can't just, it's more to that. You got to be the character. You have to give the character the action. There's no way that you can just say, oh, I'm John Doe. I'm the killer. Raw. I got you. Like, you ain't scaring nobody, bro. Like, it's not. Now, if you psych yourself out like like you know, you just go, you just take it there. Then like it's like, oh my God, like people see me in Soul Hood, and when they see me there, it was like he's cool, but he's a killer. And it was like when they see me in the movie theater, they were like, I don't know if I want to speak to you. And I'm like, dude, I'm nothing like the character, like what's on the camera. Like I'm loving, I'm a real cool. I can even anybody, you know, can actually, you know, handle business if they feel threatened, you know. But if it just comes down to somebody, just I'm probably the most easygoing person that anybody might run into, and I love peace. So I don't I don't like any back and forth or none of that, you know. So I make sure that my cast, I make sure, like, even with my cast members from the bait, I talk to them now. My best friend, he plays a hitman. He plays Mad Max in my movie The Bait, and I have to literally tell him a lot of times, like, hey, go back and do that again. You're a killer. You're too cool to, you know, you're killing them too cool. Like literally, you're a killer. Get in there and get your blood. Like, don't let the blood, like you want the blood to get on you. Like go crazy, you know. Don't just go in there. He dead, bro. Next scene. Like it's not gonna work like that.
At all. Thank you.
You know,
I'm so glad
Todd,
you
you
do
said
that.
something. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. He said something that piqued my interest. You said, like, when the people see you, you know, like just, you know, not on, the screen or whatever, but they see you in person, they're a little nervous. I believe that that's a great sign of a great actor, because you know, I've seen whole people get mad at actors and actresses, and they be like, I hate you. You're so mean on this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you really deliver. You know, you talk about that delivery yesterday was like, I just want to, you just stab you in the throat right now because I hate you because you're so horrible on the show. But, you know, you really did a good job because the people were able to connect. Like, you really sold it. You became that person. So I love that. I mean, don't go out there hurting folk, okay? They're acting, y'all. It's not real, okay?
like for example, like
appreciate the art.
Like for example, sis, like everybody like hates Gary and Sistas because I mean, I don't hate anybody, you know, God forgive me for saying that, but I hate his character. Like I want to just.
He's so cool.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You can't judge people because, you know, that's just his character. But, you know, you go to places and, you know, top fans of all these actors and actresses, they want to literally do something to you in public. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've had people not want to take pictures with me. Like they literally felt like, you know, even when my first I played the dirty cop, and it was like, you played that role too good, and I was a rookie, you know, then, and it was just like, oh man, I don't want to take a picture with the police. I'm like, dude, I'm not a cop. Like I'm not a cop. I didn't go to school to be a cop or nothing. I have a communications degree. I'm not a police officer. So, you know, I love being able to get down into character, and I love the fans' reaction. I think that every time that I'm on set and I'm actually going through my roles and we're recording, I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, I want the fans' reaction. It's not really about my reaction. I kind of already feel like I've been acting my whole life. I've been playing football. I do shows and stuff in front of my mom. And I'm a funny guy. Like, and the weirdest thing ever is I haven't done any comedy movies yet. Like everybody that puts me in a movie, they want me to be like this aggressive dude. Like, and I'm like, I'm real funny. And it's like, but I wrote a sitcom. My company, Phase 3. I have about 4 different projects that are getting ready to be filmed and released. The Bait is the actual first. It's the kickoff. So that's coming this summer. We're almost done with it. We have about 12 to 16 more scenes, and we'll be completely done with the movie. So I'm overly proud of my cast. Everybody that I have people that's coming from Atlanta. I have a guy from Atlanta named Dave Tucker. One of my actresses, Octavia Mixon, she stars in the movie Homecoming that's on Tubi now. So if you go on Tubi, and I think it's probably trending because it's been trending like kind of heavy over the past few weeks. But she stars in that. I have Michael Carter. He's an amazing actor here in Jacksonville. There's a few. Let's see, Dave Tucker. He's an actor out of Atlanta. Kevin Thorne, he's another actor here out of Jacksonville. Octavia, I said Octavia already. Giovanni Valiente, she has, her catalog is building up pretty good. I actually coach my mom and my stepdad in my current film debate. My mom is actually she's making her acting debut, so I'm overly excited to see how the fans respond to that. That's something that she's always wanted to do, so I'm happy that I was able to put that in position for her. My mom is a retired Air Force vet, so with her coming to and getting into the film world, it's fun. I did one movie with my dad, so this is one with my mom, so I'm overly excited.
Yes, your mom is in the comments. I see her.
Oh,
Go,
she
mama.
there?
I see you, mom.
What's
Her
up, Mom?
mama over there. And thank you
Hey,
for your
Mom.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a lot of people that I have several people, several friends. My best friend, Rico Jones, he plays a major role. This is one of his debut films as well. So it's a lot of Rickies in my movie that I'm actually, making sure that they get their opportunities and stuff, and along with working with a few veterans. Me and one of my my co-stars, well, one of my film buddies, Dennis Maldonado, we started the concept for this movie about 2 years ago. So I'm just excited to see it get on the road and get the ball to get rolling.
That's
sounds
awesome.
amazing. Yes, good.
And shout out to Carlos the Smith. Carlos the director Smith. He is one of the most amazing directors here in Jacksonville. So I'm overly excited to continue to work with him. We've been working together for over 10 years. Him, guys like Sozo Jackson, Michael Carter, Junior Atwood. We have quite a bit of great directors here. Gen X. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Queen Pen movies, but there's a lot of talent here in Jacksonville when it comes to directors, actors, and actresses.
So what are you like genres like, or do you do just like action or scary movies? Because me, I don't watch scary movies at all.
I do it all. I'm open to doing it all. I've done drama, several drama movies. 420, my very first movie was like a dramedy. It was like a comedy / drama. So it was pretty funny. I got to show a little bit of comedy in that movie. It's been mostly though action drama for the most part.
Okay. What would be something that you would say is off limits to do? Like, for example, me as an actor, I do not pose nude. No. Ain't nobody gonna see my goodies. No.
Yeah.
And or kissing on scene, because I don't know what people's mouths been. And I have a honey, and he won't appreciate it. So what would you say would be off limits for you?
I kind of would agree with those. I mean, I don't know. Like, it kind of just depends on the situation. I would say, like I said, I've been trained, so I know how the kissing works in the movies. Like, they're not lip to lip. Is usually like the top, the lip. You kiss the person's top lip, like ordeal. Like, it's not. But like you say, you don't know people's mouth has been or stuff like that. So I'm very reluctant when it comes to that. I'm never going to put on anybody's dress. Never gonna happen. No matter. Like, I'll never degrade my manhood to, and no disrespect to people like Tyler Perry and Martin Lawrence and guys that decide they want to wear a dress, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. My mom didn't raise me like that. She raised a real man. I ain't putting on nobody's dress. I got sisters. I got nieces. Cousins, aunts, I ain't putting on a dress. Anything else, anything manly, I'm open to. I'll say that. I'm not doing nothing where it goes against my manhood. I've worked very hard to build my respect and my reputation, and I'm not going to let any amount of money like damper it. I would never do that. It's not a price on that.
I like that. That makes perfect sense. Yep. Nadine, how about you being a fellow actor? Is there anything that would be off limits for you if somebody came to you? What would
Same thing.
you? What would be off
No,
limits?
no nudity, none of that. Not for me, honey.
Yeah. Cece, being a viewer of a lot of movies and TVs, etc., what makes you uncomfortable when you're watching something?
I don't want to see everybody naked, right? You just some people just don't have the bods, okay? We just don't want to. No, I don't want to see that. No, right? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I just I'm in the mindset now of like a lot of these rated R, all these things. It's just so much that goes into our eye gates that we really don't need to see. It's interesting as parents, we try to shield our children from seeing all of these types of things, but yet we'll go and sit and watch. And so just not everything, the language is big for me, all of the cursing, and it's just, I don't like all of that all the time. I don't understand why, sometimes like now the popular word, like in everything that you see is the F-bomb. Like really, like do we really need that to really kind of convey a point, right? Also, like, with homosexuality, it's just like a normal part of everyday acting. Like it's just in there. It's like, just tell me a story, right? And let it go from there. But they have to kind of throw these things in. And I'm like, does it even bring more, I don't know, I don't even know the word, like vitality, more substance, more, you know what I'm saying, to the film? Like, it's just like it was some randomness just kind of thrown in there to check a box. And I'm really over Hollywood putting that in there just to check all the boxes to try to include, you know what I'm saying? Just some things you're just not going to be included in, and I'm okay with that.
And it's because
I don't have to check all the boxes and all of those types of appeal to Hollywood. And so it's just, you got to have some standards. So I'm glad that you have some standards. You're like, hey, there's just some things I'm not going to do. A lot of people will do any and everything to make a bottom dollar. And I really see in the African American community where it is when it comes to like, a lot of the different homosexual scenes, what do you typically see? You normally see minority people playing those roles. Why is that? Like, I question a lot of things. I really, really do. And it's not to really get into the whole race thing, but it's like the things that's being put before me because it's a television. It's to tell somebody's vision, right? So what are you trying to get me to see, to convey? How are you trying to sway me? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of hidden messages. A lot of times we don't take time to stop and think and hear, right, the story of what they're actually trying to convey, because they're trying to persuade you one way or the other. And truly the other thing now, and maybe this just kind of comes with age, I don't know, but you normally have your main actors and things of that nature. And so everybody's kind of, even if the main actors is a grimy, slimy, whatever, but because they're the star of the show, like it's almost as if you got to root for them to win, whatever you know what I'm saying? Even though they're not, they should. Sometimes the villain is not really always the villain. You see what I'm saying? So just kind of flipping those scripts and things of that nature. And I really kind of like the I don't know what you call it in your Hollywood language, in your actors feel, but like the side characters. I don't know what you call them, not the main characters, but like the support characters, right? In one of the shows. Supporting actors, I like them. So in the one show, Tyler, I think it's a sister show, I think it's a Zatima show. Nadine turned me on to that. And there's a girl in the show, and her name is Deja, and she is completely hood.
Oh yeah,
right. She's so funny though, but I love her so much.
Yeah,
she just brings the fun into the show. You know what I'm saying? You got Zach and you got Fatima, and they're the main stuff, and they're amazing. But that girl Deja, she is just hilarious. She
brings the drama,
really brings the fun to the show. So she's just out there.
I'm gonna say this. It's more so like as I think that a lot of people gravitate to the supporting roles a lot because I just won an award for Best Supporting Actor for The Future Soul. My co-star also won Best Actor award. But I think what it is that a lot of people tend to focus more so on the star of the movie, that the co-star kind of surprises you and grabs your attention a little bit more because the audience already knows who the movie is about, the star. And the audience already knows that. But now when you see this co-star and like he's grabbing more of your attention, he's kind of more relatable because the star has to be a star. The co-star can just be you. It could be anybody, you know, because he's a co-star. So it kind of like it kind of the co-star usually grabs the audience a little more because they can relate to him. They don't have to be like in my movie Debate. I'm like this business guy. I got several businesses, but then there's Max, which is my co-star, and he's a killer, but he could do a number of things. He just sits around, and now people want to know what's going on with Max. Why does Max take his wedding ring off before he killed people? Where is his family? You know, now these things are popping up now, and it makes you curious about this co-star. So I think that a lot of times the co-star, I don't know, I think it's like a cheat code. Like the co-star has the cheat code. He has the upper hand because everybody already knows who the star is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to see it. Absolutely. That's a good way to see it. All right. So we're going to pivot over into our last minute words, and this will give us an opportunity to pretty much say last minute words where people can find you, any next projects, quotes that you have, if you want to give somebody a shout out, whatever it is for your last minute words. So we will have our guest, Todd Jackson, start. Nadine, if you want to follow, CC third, and I'll go last.
All right. So y'all can follow me on Facebook, Todd Jackson Jr. parentheses actor. Also on Instagram at DAREAL Todd Jackson Jr. I also have a TikTok that I use from time to time as well, and that's Todd Jackson 904, I believe, something like that. My movie, the Future Soul, a movie that I'm in, I would say, The Future Soul, which I co-star in. That movie is getting ready to go on all streaming platforms any day now. It was filmed and directed by Carlos Smith III. Amazing movie. If y'all like Back to the Future type movies, it's a modern day time travel. It's amazing. So it takes you back in. Both characters, you know, go back in time in their lives where, you know, things were not as pleasant to things becoming, you know, more pleasant. And I don't want to give y'all too much because I want y'all to watch it. So, but yeah, The Future Soul is getting ready to be available on all streaming platforms. God willing, I'll be releasing The Bait end of June, probably early July, but it will be this summer. The trailer is available on all platforms right now. I think I sent it over to you already. So I do have the trailer available. Shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my whole cast, the whole cast of The Bait. Y'all are doing an amazing job. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative to have y'all. I wouldn't have selected anybody other than who I'm working with right now. You guys are truly amazing. Thank y'all so much. Thank you to Carlos Smith III and Michael Carter for all the filming, the behind the scenes. Thank you to Joseph Twin Cameron for getting the behind the scenes pictures and reels and things of that nature to help this project, you know, be so much amazing. Thank you to my mom and my dad for going through the hours of time and labor to make sure I get here to print this stuff out to the world. You know, just thank everybody. Thank you. I want to thank my siblings, thank my family, you know, and thank y'all for having me. And my kids, thank my kids. I can't forget my kids. Thank my kids.
Very, very nice. I love that. Yes, support. So definitely check out our guest, Todd Jackson Jr. Great things going on. And yes, we're glad to have you here. Absolutely. Nadine, you are next.
Awesome. So yes, as you guys know, see on the screen, my name is Nadine Barton, the author. I've been doing a lot of book signing. I came from a book signing today and I came over here to do the show. I wanted to take a nap because I was so tired, but you know, I made it. So you could get all my books on Amazon. Just type in my name as you see it on the screen, Nadine Barton. And you will, you know, and if you do read my books, and I'm thanking you in advance, just, you know, leave a review on Amazon. I'm also a travel agent. I mean, I know you guys book trips for yourselves already, right? So why not get a travel agent to do it for you? Because I curate your trips like you wanted to. So with that being said, you can find me on TikTok. No, don't use TikTok. TikTok, never mind. My old TikTok got banned. I had so many followers. Now I have like about 300 people. Well, y'all can follow me on there and build up my following. But I mean, I really don't care about TikTok. But anyway, you can follow me on Instagram at Nadia B, NADIAB _1202. And just as you see my name here on Facebook, Nadine Barton. And, you know, I just want to say to you guys, life is 10% of what happened to you and 90% of how you react. Because I know I have a lot of military people on here. And, you know, when you're in the military, how they try to push you to be disrespectful, push you to do that. But then, you know, you got to think about how you want to react to that person. Same thing in the civilian sector. Like, you know, you just got to take a step back before reacting. So that's like my favorite quote. So, you know, life is 10% of what happened to you and 90% of how you react. And there you have it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And so I am Sandra, the Actions with Inspire for Purpose. Thank you, Nadine. Woo-hoo-hoo. And also CEO of Girls with Gigs, too, an author, veteran, all those wonderful things as well. You guys know I always got to keep it real with the Holy Spirit. I always got to give him a high five, high 10, you know, because he's the one that allows us to be able to make this happen. Of course, you can Google my name as well. You'll find me. There's stuff out there. You can check me out on Facebook, all those things as well. I don't really like social media, but there's some stuff out there. Thanks to Nadine. She's helped me with that. I want you all to focus on what we talked about earlier, right, in the entertainment section about to have and to hold when it comes to those vows, right, with your relationships, right? Make sure that you have someone, okay, that you can actually hold on to, all right, and try to make it through to the end. I always like to say, you know, nothing ever negative and nothing positive ever came from negative thinking. That's something that I've always kind of had. So if I always keep my mind in that positive mindset, right, I don't need to worry about all the negative stuff, right? And as I always like to say for Inspire for Purpose, it's love and light and inspire for purpose.
Amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, thank you. I want to give a big shout out to our viewers and listeners. You are amazing. Shout out to Mom. She was so sweet. She left this really nice message for me. So I love you, Mom. Thank you for always being so supportive. And I will say this, Mom had a really good friend who I called my aunt, and unfortunately she recently passed. And so Mom did share that we call her Auntie Philanda. She's watching the show. She was always supportive over us. So may she rest in peace in heaven. And I know she's still watching Oyendia TV. So thank you for the viewers and listeners. And we will definitely miss you, Auntie Philanda. Rest in peace. Also, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. I mean, we have some amazing sponsors. We're going to play what we have here for our commercials, and we'll be right back.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Oyendia TV Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Dream, explore, discover with Nadine's Travel Oasis. Your next adventure is just the booking away. From breathtaking beaches to vibrant cityscapes, we handle the details so you can make the memories. Luxury, leisure, or last-minute getaways, we've got you covered. Book today and let Nadine's Travel Oasis take you places.
Big shout out to Nadine and CC, the Actionist, Inspire for Purpose. You all are amazing for being sponsors of Oyendia TV. And for those who are interested, just reach out. Email is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, oyendiatv@gmail.com, and just subject line, I want to be a sponsor. We'll send you that information. Also, food for thought, like I always say. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me promote myself, right? Before I share the food for thought. But for those who want to find me, go on Google. Type in my name, Yesse Rodriguez, Yesse Rodriguez. You can find all my social media, my website, pretty much a little bit about me. I mean, not everything, but for the most part, right? So that's how you can find me. Also, food for thought that I was going to share with regards to my favorite quote that we're going to close out with. And I usually I'm sure you probably heard it many times. You're going to continue to hear it because I just like it that much. If you're saying the sky's the limit, please refrain yourself from saying sky's the limit. And I get it. You know, you back in the 90s and early 2000s, you heard Biggie Smalls saying the sky's the limit, you know, with 112 and all that. I get it, right? And like Cece mentioned earlier, that's part of the programming. Programming. Because when you really think about it, me being me, I did a search, and there's a thing called the Kármán line, which is about 62 miles above sea level, which means that when you say the sky's the limit, you're actually setting yourself a boundary that separates the skyline from outer space. So you're being programmed to really set yourself a boundary. You didn't even realize it until I just told you, I'm sure. But please refrain from saying that. Don't say sky's the limit. However, say this. This is a quote I created in light of that. The sky's never the limit, because the galaxies are endless. So thank you all for tuning in to Hoy en Día TV. Until next time.
Yes, I have